Everybody, welcome back to Nerd Word, and we are here again in the amazing America's Heroes here in Killeen, Texas. I'm Josh, that's Earl.
How you doing?
And today we are going to be talking full spoilers about Civil War. Basically, what Civil War means for the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, Earl, you start us off on this one.
Well, first off, it's the premise is similar to what was in the comics, but that's, just the fact that you have two teams fighting pretty much is where the similarities end.
Yeah.
The premise behind why is totally different. It all starts off with the government and many world governments going over the Battle of Sokovia and the loss of the city in that country, where in Avengers Age of Ultron, pretty much the entire city was destroyed. And the government wants to do this accord where all the heroes are overseen. Well, basically the Avengers are overseen by the 137 countries. Mm-hmm. So you have Iron Man's side, which is for it, Captain America's side, which is against. And it's brought to the forefront when at the signing of the accord is met with a bombing by what appears to be the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And that's how the ball gets rolling on that one. From there, it's trying to find the Winter Soldier, and that's where the lines are drawn, right there. And from there, you have some of the best lines in battle sequences, especially the airport scene. When you have Captain America's group meet up with Iron Man's group, and
Underoos!
Yeah, the scene when Cap's team shows up and Iron Man's team shows up, and Iron Man's pretty much like, "Oh, your little odds are uneven." And on Iron Man's side plops down. He says Underoos, like Josh said, and he comes down, snatches Captain America's shield away from him, and that's when it all starts.
Oh yeah, I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Probably the best Spider-Man we are ever going to be getting in the foreseeable future. This guy can act, he can jump, he can flip, he can quip. He's just amazing. The CGI spider suit did get me a little bit, but then as the movie progressed, I was fine with it. But they did go to an actual Spider-Man costume when he was on the ground, when he landed on the ground.
Yeah. Earlier in the movie, they showed when Tony Stark went to Peter's house, and he had a costume that was basically in the attic, in the entryway to the attic in his room. Tony hit it, and this makeshift Spider-Man costume fell to the ground.
Man, that guy's quick.
Yeah.
He's just jumping all over the place.
So, Tony basically figured it out. He used false pretenses to get to Peter, saying he was the recipient of a grant from his company, and the fact that Tony was hitting on Aunt May.
That's his aunt?
Yes, which is played by a very young-looking 50-plus-year-old Marissa Tomei, which is great. I've had a lot of people ask me, they're so used to Aunt May being like this old woman, like, she could be his grandma. And I'm like, well, Peter's 16, she was 34 when he was born, it makes a lot of sense. She doesn't have to be an old hair, gray-haired, wrinkly lady. I mean, just because you see that in the comics doesn't mean that's the way it needs to be. Mm-hmm. Comedic timing from him was on point. Just the placement of the actor, his reactions and everything, mixed with the seriousness of the Black Panther character, and then also the excellent comedic timing of Paul Rudd as Ant-Man.
And Giant Man.
Which Spider-Man's reaction when Ant-Man becomes Giant Man was just phenomenal.
Hey guys, you remember that old movie with where they're on the snow planet with the walkers?
That's what it's like. Empire Strikes Back. They're like,
How old is this kid? I didn't carbon date him. He's on the young side.
Yeah. Spider-Man was awesome.
Yeah, and the fact that he's only been Spider-Man for about 6 months or so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not that long.
Yeah.
The way they did his eyes, it's a suit given to him by Tony, where they explained why the eyes move. He was wearing these goggles, and basically it helps him focus. It zeroes in on what he's looking at.
Yeah.
And the eyes on the costume do the same. They're motorized, so when he squints, he's focusing. Because his spider sensor's just off the chart.
Basically, spider ADHD.
Yeah, so it helps them focus on it. And heard a lot of people say they didn't care for that reasoning. Well, it's the reasoning, and there you go.
That's what we get, so deal with it.
There was a scene where Cap met Sharon, when she's Sharon Carter,
Yeah.
outside, when they were running away, and Winter Soldier and the Falcon were in the car.
The best kiss scene reaction ever.
They're sitting there, and he kisses Sharon, and he looks back over to him, and they're like, yeah. So that was one of the better parts in the movie. The fight scenes were just fantastic. Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, great job. I mean,
Completely
I can't
kicks out
wait.
of the park. Yeah.
Can't wait for the Black Panther movie.
Oh man, that's gonna be so good.
Yep.
Totally in Wakanda. Just, I can't wait for it.
Yeah. And you start finding out where they put the people, where the government is putting the people that don't agree with them. It's not a nice place.
It's the Raft.
Yeah.
One of Marvel's 4 Supermax prisons. They actually brought it into this the universe.
And they're putting guys like Falcon in there, guys with no powers. They had Falcon. Hawkeye comes out of retirement and helps
more of
out.
a purplish suit in this one. Pretty cool.
You have some people on certain teams, but somewhere in the middle of the movie, you start seeing them start to question what side they're on. Mainly Black Widow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if she ends up in the Raft for some of the stuff she does in there. But the way about 2/3 through the movie, I'm sitting there going, the storyline is not progressing as fast as I'd like. It's also not cohesive enough for me. But that last scene where they go back to the fortress where the soldiers are kept.
Yeah, the Winter Soldiers.
And that all of a sudden just everything clicked. Because you find out something that at the beginning of the movie, the Winter Soldier sent out on a mission to track down something. We don't know what it is.
Yeah.
He ends up shooting the driver of the car. The car goes off the road and hits a tree. And then we assume already that the person in the car is dead. Well, later in the movie, you see the unedited footage. The villain in this movie, by the way, is Baron Zemo, who is from Sokovia and lost his, I believe, his father, his son,
wife and his daughter,
and his wife, and his children, in the big disaster. So he was wanting to make sure that the heroes paid for it. And he shows some unedited footage of just who the Winter Soldier was killing. And like we said, this is full of spoilers.
If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
He had ran off the road. He killed and ran off the road Howard Stark. Inside the car was Maria Stark, still alive, then killed by the Winter Soldier.
Oh, and then Tony snapped.
He did. He went off. Blew the cybernetic arm off of the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, and we get that classic comic book scene with Tony and just Cap going at it.
Yep.
Tony is blasting Cap's shield. Cap shield's up, covering him. Get that classic scene from the comic book. I was like, yes.
And then Winter Soldier and Cap double team on Iron Man. that classic
amazing
scene from the trailer. And then, Bucky's pretty much gets out of it. Tony hits him, knocks him out. And then you see Cap just pick up his shield, raise it up, and looks like he's going to cut Tony's head off.
Oh, man, I was...
Comes straight down into the chest.
Mm-hmm.
Since the arc reactor's no longer a part of Tony's heart, it just powers the suit.
Yeah.
Knocks the suit out, of course. Cap's not going to kill him.
Yeah.
The one telling thing, though, is when Cap's walking away.
Iron Man's just whining.
Yeah. And he goes,
"That's my shield."
He goes, "That's not your shield. My father created it.
You don't deserve it."
And Cap just drops it like a mic. Now, still in the Marvel Universe right now, in the Cinematic Universe, Cap, Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, Falcon, they're all criminals. There's no getting around that now. In the Cinematic Universe and in their TV universe, since it's all tied, they're criminals. Cap goes back to the raft, and we don't see everything, but it's implied everybody's knocked out that's there. Cap has rescued all of his comrades.
Yep. So now we're gonna get Secret Avengers.
Yep.
Supposedly.
Yep. Cap is he rescued everybody. Tony's lucky he's not brought up on charges. You know, but Tony is now still at odds with Cap, and unfortunately he's not going to be head of Shield like he was in the comics afterwards. Mm-hmm. And I kind of thought, well, maybe they should go ahead and kill Cap. Now I'm glad they did.
Yeah.
You know, the Captain America character went through hell in Civil War and deserves to clear their name, because it is now known that it was not the Winter Soldier who bombed the signing.
Mm-hmm. It was Zemo.
Yep, Zemo had this mask on, and the mask was found with the body of this doctor, so they know it was Zemo. But yet the Winter Soldier is still wanted. The countries out there still want him. And this is one of the cooler scenes, because this is one of the 2 scenes at the end of the movie. Did you save for those?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You see the Winter Soldier in a tube being put in cryogenic state, saying that until they can find a cure for this, being,
his brainwashing.
Yeah, his brainwashing and the trigger words, which, turned him into Winter Soldier, he said it'd be better on ice. And
we found out where he's actually being held.
He's in Wakanda.
Holy crap, Wakanda looks amazing.
Yeah, it does. And Captain America goes, thank you, T'Challa, for keeping him here.
If they find him here, they'll come looking for him. Let them come.
Yeah. And just like they've done in the comics, Wakanda is a country that's never been invaded, never been conquered.
Yeah.
So after they say that, after he tells them, let them come, it pans over, and there's the giant panther statue.
That is amazing.
Which I think Black Panther is going to be an amazing movie, because they did so many things with the Panther, including having his female bodyguards.
Oh, that was amazing.
After his father died. Yeah, and that's what brings the Black Panther into the forefront of this movie. His father dies in the bombing.
Yeah.
So he is no longer Prince T'Challa, he is King T'Challa. And now he has the weight of an entire country on him. So, he was like, he had the chance to kill Zemo, who killed his father. But he didn't. He said Zemo's going to pay for his crimes. Yeah, Zemo was about to blow his own head off.
Yeah, he didn't let the torment, the vengeance consume him.
Yeah.
Like he said.
So he's gonna have his way in his picture. And we were talking with someone. I was talking with someone earlier. They said they can't wait for Claw to show up, because Claw was selling the adamantium in Age of Ultron.
The
vibranium.
Adamantium isn't in the Marvel Cinematic Universe yet.
Yeah, I've been hearing the rumors.
That might not.
I don't know if they're fake rumors or not.
They're probably fake rumors that we might get a multi-studio crossover, but I don't think that's going to happen for a while. But okay, so some questions. What did you think about this version of Zemo, since it's not the actual Baron Zemo from the comics?
I think it's fine. I think the less we have of the villains being super powered, or even being like overly well funded, or having all this technology and everything, Zemo was just basically somebody wanting revenge. Yeah. He wasn't a Doctor Doom type that had an entire country at his disposal, or the latest technology, or just buckets of cash. I liked it. I thought they played it very well. That they had. What it brings about is the fact that if you see something on video, you believe it, and that's what happened. Everybody saw the Winter Soldier. They believed it was Winter Soldier, and nothing could dissuade him. It didn't, even after it was found out it wasn't him.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes back to when you read or see things without it being confirmed, like reports online or rumors online. That reaction is, okay, this is it. This is the truth. This is fact.
Yeah.
And
gotta check, recheck, double check.
Check your facts.
All those checks.
So I just thought that was really interesting, kind of telltale sign for the movie. Zemo's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
it turned out, the way they used him in the movie.
Yeah, I'm actually hoping they give him in future movies something kind of similar to his comic book costume, maybe a little bit. I don't think they will soon.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see him for a while, maybe till Avengers
Yeah.
Infinity War, but hopefully we'll get some sort of classic comic book style suit.
I remember he had that purple with like the yellow and gold trim, but with that
Yeah.
thing that looked like a sock on his head.
Yeah, and in the comics he was he ran Hydra.
Yep.
So it's this version of Zemo is quite a divergent of the comic book, but it works. It really works.
I can see him leading Thunderbolts.
Dude, I didn't even think of that. That's
just like in the comics.
Dude, I want that now. I want Thunderbolts in the MCU. Bring in Red Hulk. Bring in all those guys. And I think that Tony is starting to doubt his position on the Accords because at the end of the movie, Cap gives him the phone and he's like, yeah, I pretty well should.
And I love what he told Ross. He goes, next time you call me, I'll put you on hold.
Put you on hold. I like to watch the line blink.
Yeah, and he did that. And I just think Stark had to go through that. He had to go through some humility and seeing that,
his ego was way too big.
Yeah, his ego was way too big. I mean, this is a guy that basically created Ultron because I don't care what anyone says. I saw an ad for something last night that said, by the year 2025, every home will have a robot. And I'm like, right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, not every home in this country has even the internet, so I think he's trying to use technology to bring peace. Well, any type of technology you can create, no matter how benign or well intended it is to be used for good, can be perverted for evil, and then that's in any type of literature and even in reality. So I think he just needs to give up on that and continue making suits.
Yeah, and in this movie we also get another amazing Stanley cameo.
Yes.
Tony Stank?
Tony Stank.
Is this the Tony Stank? Yes, it is Tony Stank.
Yeah.
I don't think Rhodes is ever going to let that live down.
And that was another thing. Vision accidentally hit
Rhodey, yeah.
Rhodey, and caused him to crash and basically became paralyzed.
Yeah, that was big. And we saw that Scarlet Witch's powers have been up to like 10 times for what they were. It's just, and her hand motions, I really do want to see the special features for this movie because I really want to see how the directors, the Russo brothers, really helped her control her powers, helped her make her powers look more hexy.
Right, because it was, the motion she had, her hands, normally you see like hands, they'd be like together, but they were
all over the place.
They were all, yeah, exactly. They weren't even lined up or anything like that because, she would have her hands like, and then it would it'd be all out there. And it was really nice. Elizabeth Olsen did a great job.
Yeah.
The accent,
they could probably improve a little bit. Yeah. I think it mellowed. The accent mellowed. But
it really did.
It has been a year since Age of Ultron, so I guess she's gotten that American accent a little bit. But yeah, I really did enjoy the final post-credit scene with Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
We get to see the classic Spider-Man logo, the spider light.
Yeah, it's coming out of his web shooters, and it's the round Spider-Man symbol with a bunch of little symbols around it. I bet it's like a touch screen, something in case you needed it. Because it had a bunch of different symbols around it. The cool thing was, he's sitting there, he's all beat up, he's got like a black eye and everything, and Aunt May walks in and she goes like, yeah, he puts the web shooter under his arm. And she's like, what happened? He goes, I got into a fight with this guy named Steve from the Bronx. Because there's a scene in there where Steve Rogers is talking to Spider-Man, and he's like, "I'm from New York. Where are you from?" He goes, "From the Bronx." He goes, "Queens."
No, that's
the other way around?
Yes. Spidey says he's from Queens.
Oh, yeah, and
Steve says he's from
yeah, and
Bronx.
then it's just hilarious. He's like, "I got in a fight with a guy named Steve, from Queens, or Bronx." But yeah, he got in a fight with a guy named Steve. And I'm like,
And he was
"That's pretty
big.
funny."
I hope you got a few licks in. Yeah, it was big.
The scene where
Nice.
Ant-Man goes, "I got a trick up on my sleeve, but it might kill me," and he turns into Giant Man. It was phenomenal. Paul Rudd.
He is amazing.
Their choice for him as Ant-Man at first when the Ant-Man movie came out, I was like, I don't know. But it's the Scott Lang, who's kind of a Weisenheimer, and Paul Rudd's got that comedic timing and it turned out very well.
I liked the upgrade for the Ant-Man suit this
Yes.
time around. Really cool.
Yep. And he was funny because he popped up, he was hiding
On
Cap
Cap Shield.
Cap
Yeah.
Shield. It was funny.
Yeah.
They didn't even know he was there because they pull up and they go, "What you got there?" They open up a van door and it's Scott Lang and he's sitting there sleeping. Like,
Oh, that's Captain America. I know you. You're cool.
yeah. Yeah. Great car scene.
Love it.
Chase scene. That was really good.
Here, when I tell you, throw this. Oh man, I thought it was a water truck.
Yeah.
Oh.
He had a little truck little toy truck, and then he when he threw it, it enlarged. I'm like, man. Then when he fell against a plane and destroyed it.
I like the Russo brothers' direction with the enormity, the feel of scale, because Giant Man is huge, so he's going slow motion like you will most likely would if you're gigantic.
Right.
So that was pretty cool.
It was a very good movie. Already at the box office as of yesterday, worldwide $941 million.
A+.
Already in 10 days of release, it has surpassed Batman Superman by about
A lot.
70 million, and it's only going to make more. It's gonna go over $1 billion. The Marvel Cinematic Universe in itself has grossed over $10 billion worldwide now.
Whoa!
10 billion. Now, like Josh and I were talking about earlier, there's a rumor I read online. Like I said, it's a rumor that Fox and Marvel were talking about working together to do a shared universe. I personally think that's just somebody making something up.
Yeah.
But if they could do it, that would be amazing. But I also think that the guys at Warner Brothers need to swallow their pride and maybe talk to Marvel. Not doing team-up movies.
Just
But
having Marvel
input.
consult
Yeah.
on their movies, because Warner Brothers, DC.
Because Marvel has not put out one bad movie.
They haven't put a flop out in years.
Yeah, people looked at Iron Man 3 and said they didn't like it, yet it made over $1 billion.
Yeah.
Iron Man 3, the third one.
The one that everyone thinks is the worst movie in the cinematic universe.
And Batman Superman fell out of the top 10 this week. So it's one of those things like swallow your pride, ask for some help. They probably wouldn't help even if they asked, but let's be totally honest. Zack Snyder's not the right fit.
No, he's not. The Man of Steel movie was good. It was not perfect, but it was good. Zack Snyder is a terrible story writer.
Now see, I'm not sure how much input he had in the script. If he had any, he just needs to stay out of it. But I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You're gonna give it a bad name. I've also heard that Ben Affleck is now executive producer on the Batman and Justice League movie.
Yeah.
So
Ben Affleck is going to be directing the Batman movies anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah.
So I think that's good, and for a lot of people out there who go like, "Oh, that's gonna suck," put it to you like this: as far as I know, there is no one that has directed any Marvel movie that has directed any DC movie that actually has an Oscar, an Academy Award for directing and or writing. And he's got one of each.
Oh, yeah. Ben
Love-
Affleck is an amazing director.
Love him or hate him, the guy has a vision for his movies. Maybe not on like the big budget scale. He hasn't done one of those.
Yeah.
But if you go see Argo,
Oh, yeah.
The Town, Gone Girl, you'll never look at Ben Affleck the same.
Oh, amazing.
Just purge Daredevil out of your mind, because guess what? He didn't write it. He didn't direct it. He was just doing what he was told. Look at Mark Johnson. Put you in this terms. Same guy that did Daredevil also did the Ghost Rider movies. You make your own determination there.
Yeah. And I do believe with that, we are out of time. So, Earl, some final things. What is one thing you think Civil War, how Batman and Superman should have been, would basically influence the rest of the cinematic universe?
I think right now there's going to be a lot of distrust in between the metahuman community. I think right now you're going to start seeing a lot of the heroes question other heroes about what side they're on.
Yeah.
Because working outside of this accord or being basically endorsed by the governments makes you an outlaw now.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's going to happen whenever the heroes run into a villain? If they start fighting and the heroes weren't sent on that mission by the government, you're a vigilante. You're an outlaw now.
Yeah.
You're a criminal. You're just like them.
Yeah. Kind of like how it more or less is in the comics. They're basically all vigilantes. None of them are controlled by the government. So,
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
They did the whole thing in the comics with the Avengers being sanctioned by the UN. Didn't really
Didn't work out. Yep.
Not at all.
And yeah. So yeah, this has been our talk, our spoiler talk on Civil War. Hashtag how Batman and Superman should have ended. Yeah, that's it for us. I'm Josh, that's Earl. And let us know what you guys thought about Captain America Civil War down in the comments below. And if you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more nerdy news, movie reviews, and all that. I'm Josh Nerd Word, where you can get your nerd on.